Check, 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 check. Shout out to Pablo. Yep. Check, check, check one, check two. Check one, check two. All right. Cool. All right. Look at that. Look at that. People are here. We're here. We're queer, and we're gonna something bears. What does he say? We're here. We're queer, and we're gonna. Forgot what it says on The Simpsons. Top of the morning to you, First Sergeant. Wife's out of town. She's in California with Maddie. What's up, Teddy? Teddy Turnbuckle. I'm using all of my hype. Why is it so? One second. Why is it? Can make it bigger. Oops. Oh, what the hell did I just do? Blink. Boy. Screwing something up. I don't know what I'm screwing up. Okay. I'm screwing something up, but I don't know what it is. Bind all of us together. It said loose is George and PA. What up, man? I've been using why is it so low? Actually experiencing technical difficulty. If you can't, okay. There we go. I've been using all my hype points with it. Do you see that function in YT and analytics? I don't know what the hype is. I don't. Does it? I mean, do you have a? I don't know how that works. Do you have a certain amount of points that you get or something like that? If it's like where I want to comment, it's like hype. I'm like, I don't know what that means. So, Drewski, if you can tell me what, or not, Drewski, if you can tell me what that is, I'd be good to know for sure. Speaking of Minnesota, look what I got on. See, you know what that is? You don't know what it is, do you? You think it's Navy. Look at that. You know what that shirt is? Look at that. Hello, everybody. Good evening, Josh. Hey, Josh. Good evening. It says David Smith. Right on. Shut up and dig that hole, Scanley. Exactly. Northstars. Look at that shirt right there. You guys, I got this from T Public. Northstars. Pretty cool, isn't it? I probably should have gotten a green, but I kind of like the yellow. It makes my shirt, my pearly yellows don't look quite as yellow. Ted, I see you're cold up there. Georgie Porgy. Private comrade. Hey, what's up, Chris? From California, right on. Yep, Minnesota Northstars. Yep. Hey, Tom. Northstars in Dallas now. Yep. They should have changed their name. Instead of being the Dallas Stars, they should have been the Dallas Lone Stars. That was such a layup. I don't know. The Dallas Lone Stars, dude. I mean, maybe it's trademarked. I don't even think that was even a consideration. I mean, why would you just call yourself the Stars? Call yourself the Dallas Lone Stars. The Minnesota North Stars is a freaking great name. It still pisses me off. Dummies. Like the Utah Mammoth. What the hell's that, dude? It's just stupid. The color. What's going on in West Michigan? St. Louis. Hello, Brian. Sean Bates. Hey, Sean. I don't know what's going on in St. What's going on in West Michigan. Is Tom, you up there? Something happening? Prayers, it was affected. I have no clue what's happening up there. Oh, a tornado. Damn, dude. Is it really causing a lot of damage? Damn. Dallas Fort Worth. Yeah, tornadoes are no joke. And West, like what town? Like Grand Rapids or something? That's nuts, dude. Yeah, I don't like those tornadoes. We get tornado, whatever here, tornado warnings. Yeah, watches or warnings. I can't remember which is worse. Yikes! Entire place is level with deaths. Oh man, gotta say prayers. Heavenly Father, we just pray for all those people affected by tornadoes up in West Michigan. Oh, just provide comfort to the surviving families. Hey, please provide the community to help them out. To find lodging, to find food, and to find peace. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. Oh, yeah. Enjoying Aruba after you said I could retire. I don't remember saying that. I remember saying you can't retire and go to Aruba. A tornado warning is worse than a tornado watch. Yeah, we get tornado warnings here. And I do this scary because we got all kinds of trees around our house. I hate just trying to go to bed with a freaking wind and the trees ripping back and forth. I've never been to Aruba. You know why, David? Because like women, all right, not men, if you know what I'm saying. So I've never been to Aruba. Bruce Dexter. Bruce Dexter is on Facebook. All right, cool. We got yeah, right on, man. Hey, it's always good to have a person or two on Facebook. Of course, Fast A's been to Aruba. I see. That's what I just said. So look at that. David Smith says he loves Aruba, and then he said he's in Aruba. I said I don't go to Aruba because I like women. It was Fast Eddie said. He said he loves Aruba. Shocking. Remember Fast Eddie's guy saying you dye my hair or something like that. Yikes! Tornadoes 1 hour south of us. Eesh. Warning is worse. That's what a tornado has been seen. A watch is when conditions are yeah, dude. It's scary. I don't like that at all. We were up at a National Predators game actually 4 or 5 years ago, and that 10 years ago now. Yeah, it's 10 years ago. Whoa, geez, time flies. And they had a tornado warning, and we all had to get down. And we're in the hotel getting ready to go to the National Predators game. We had to get in the basement. It's crazy. I remember my Chloe, she was crying. She was very, very scared. Personal rate of return in 401k year to date is 1.45. What the hell, Trump, says this guy. Freaking Trump. In 1980, stopped the Flyers record that still stands of 35 straight games with no losses. Yeah, but that's when they had so many freaking ties. Remember that used to have like freaking a third of the games were ties. Remember that? Kokomo. Get there fast and we'll take it slow. I don't even know what that is. Kokomo. Yeah. Isn't that like a song? Aruba, take you. Oh, I want to take you. Key Largo. Baba. Something like that. Freaking Trump. Trump's telling this guy, you personally are responsible by 401k only being up 1.45% this year to date, Trump. Dudes. Can you imagine living your life like I have to blame a politician for everything? Can you just imagine? Come on, baby. You can come downstairs. You're not too old. You're too old to not know Beach Boys. Yeah, I know it's Beach Boys. That's a horrible song. Bermuda. Finnegan, come. Let's see. What up, Clint? What's up, Clint? How you doing, man? I haven't seen you around these parts for a while. Yeah, Trump. We had to go to that war in Iran. We had to do it. Had to freaking nip them in the bud because China was building more. You know you're old when it's Saturday night and we're all listening to Josh. That's right, Vaughn. That's right. How dare you, Vaughn? Chloe, you still up there? Kokomo. Kokuno is in Indiana. Oh, okay. What the hell freaking, what's the name say? Get to Kokomo, what the hell it's called. Kokomo. Man Cave Series Part 2. Yeah. Man, Trump's doing A-okay by me. He's owned by Israel. Dude, I mean, look. Israel, we have whatever. It gets so old. This stuff is so old at me. I'm like, oh, like I don't believe what happened on October 7th was the way I think there's a lot that's obviously weird to me. And I don't like how Israel responded. And I don't like the Ukraine crap, but Iran's a whole different story, man. Iran's a whole different story, especially when you got to know who is the ultimate beneficiary of Iran expanding is the Chinese. I don't know how people don't see this. It's crazy to me. On our live stream on Wednesday, we went through a couple articles about the Iranian capacity with China and how that's, you got to nip in the bud. No two ways around that. I think the Chinese president Xi, or whatever the hell his name is, Z, I think he's meeting with Trump. Actually, let's read the what does the conservative treehouse say about that? I think I saw that today. Conservative Aruba, Jamaica, come on, want to take you. Key Largo, something, come on, pretty mama. Really bad song. All right, right here. Oh, that's what we got. Check this out. Come here, Pupcake. Right here. This conservative treehouse. Europe and China have an energy problem. When President Trump and Putin met in Alaska in 2025, the focus on the geopolitical world was discussions surrounding Ukraine. Unfortunately, it didn't take long, merely a few hours, for both the U.S. and Russia to say no progress was made. However, also noted at that time was both the U.S. and Russia saying sideline discussions took place around the possibility of strategic relationships surrounding energy development. Interesting. What follows below is a review of the current energy dynamics, specifically surrounding liquefied natural gas, against a backdrop of the Iran war, with hindsight review that previous discussion between Putin and Trump. I'm not going to read it, but just it's amazing how Trump is ahead of the curve in this stuff. How many people don't get it? It's amazing to me, because you've got to take on China, not militarily, but you got to do it sooner rather than later. And as I said in a video I did the other day, China has put more online nuclear plants, more than the entire world combined since from the last 25 years. China has more nuclear plants coming online. These are new modern nuclear plants than the entire world combined. And if that doesn't scare the bejesus out of you, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's crazy. Anyway, so he says down here, there's something about, let's see here. I want to show you something here. He talks about, President Trump expands Iranian target list. Yeah, I like it. What was it right here? Hold on a second. Because it's interesting about the Chinese getting ready to meet with the Trumpster. If I can find it. Hold on just a second. I might not be able to find it. That's pretty cool. No deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. I like that. That's freaking fantastic. I guess I won't be able to find it. Anyway, he had posted something in here. Something right. I'm not going to be able to find it. China halts refiners from exporting. Right here. China halts the refiners from exporting diesel and gasoline. According to the most evaluated data, China was buying more than 80% of Iran's shipped oil. That's according to data from 2025. Iranian oil always had limited buyers due to U.S. sanctions. However, China purchased an average of 1.38 million barrels per day. That represented about 13.4% of the total of it imports. With President Trump previously cutting off discounted oil from Venezuela, two things unfolded. First, the Venezuelan oil was no longer sold with non-petrodollar currencies. Venezuelan oil is now being sold in the standard oil market. Secondly, with Venezuelan oil disrupted, China would become even more dependent on Iranian shipments if they want to retain the discounted rate. Because Iran is basically a puppet state of China now, their welfare state, is selling oil to China at steep discounts, all right? Because they said there's no other way to do it. And they're doing it under the cover of darkness to avoid sanctions. Iranian light crude is traded around $8 to $10 a barrel below the normal price. That means Chinese refiners save about $8 to $10 a barrel if they buy Iranian light rather than non-sanctioned oil. Additionally, as noted by Operation Fury, Iran has a record amount of oil on the water, equivalent to around 50 days of output. As China has bought less because of sanctions, and Tehran seeks to protect its supply, the risk of U.S. oil strikes. Anyway, so the issue is here that Z or whatever his name is, he's like, maybe Trump is not taking this lightly about the Chinese pending domination. It's just crazy how people don't get it. How many did you know that? I think I did a video on this. I can't remember, but according to Steve Robinson in the Main Wire, China has had 1 million people come to the United States and deliver babies. 1 million, something like that. I can't remember the exact amount. 1 million. And these aren't just people trying to escape the commies. These are like Chinese officials and whatnot, because then if you're born in the United States, you get voting rights and all that crap. It's crazy. And then go back to China. It's nuts to me. Anyway, so someone had to do something, and we're doing it, and that's what's got to be done unequivocally. And then you just think about Taiwan, because if China invades Taiwan, what happens to the semiconductor industry? Anyway, this got to be done. Had to be done. Should have been done sooner. Had to be. And even Trump was saying it should have been done sooner. He's been saying this for a long, long time. Never mind the fact that Iranian funded Hezbollah and all that, and who killed with the 241 Marines and I think airmen too in Beirut. Remember Beirut, Lebanon used to be a Christian country. So this had to be done, and I couldn't be happier for it. Look, I don't like people dying. I don't. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't do something now, it could get a hell of a lot worse. But Trump, my 401k is only up 1.4% year to date. What the hell, Trump? Like, what were you up last year? What were you up the year before? Yeah, but the year before is Biden. What were you up under the Trump's first term? But Trump, can you just imagine, like, I peed my pants, Trump. That's why I always say, thanks, Obama. Because everyone would say, because it was fun making fun of Obama for everything. Thanks, Obama. We'll say our healthcare is cheaper, Obama. Thanks, Obama. And people say, you guys blame Obama for everything. It was all funny. It's just being joker. But these guys are serious. They're not joking. They're like, Trump, you spoiled my pants. It's funny, man. I love making fun of these people. We might not agree with the CCCP, but their leadership is not stupid. 100%. Is Taiwan the place we're talking our? What you're saying? I don't understand. Let's see. All right. My machinist buddy works for a small shop which is soon to offer a Roth 401k, hottest investment product today. I don't get why a Roth 401k is the hottest investment product. I don't get that. It's the investment in the Roth 401k is just an account. It's not an investment product. It's just an account. It's a type of account. So he need to make sure he's putting his money into the Roth 401k into things that can grow. Yeah, Trump said it back in 1980 exactly. Let's see, I don't get that. Here's Pulverizer. I'm saying something stupid, I'm sure. Let's see what Pulverizer says. Trump's the one who says, look at what he's doing for your retirement accounts. Yeah, whatever. I mean, if we look from 20 since he started till now, I mean, we can look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. We'll go to political calculations. Pulverizer's always got a. We'll go to politicalcalculations.com. And once again, we'll have to prove Pulverizer pulverized his own head. All right, so we're going to go over here and we're going to see what the S&P 500 has done since January 2025. Boink. Bermuda, Jamaica, come on, let me take you. Key Largo, something, come on, pretty mama. Right there. Okay, because he came in right there. And right now we're going to calculate. And we're going to go down here. Oh, my goodness. The rate of return is 15.58% since Trump took office. Trump! Dude, it's so stupid, man. I hate when people are doing under Biden, too, by the way. It used to drive me up the wall. In 2022, Biden up. Like, in fact, as I've said many times, the markets have actually, there's something the markets did significantly better under Democrats. I think it is the markets. I think the markets have done better under Democrats than under Republicans. Don't hold me to that, but I think it's true. I'm almost positive it's true, but I can't remember. Anyway, the point being is I hated that because the presidents, I mean, like, can they have some? Yes, but at the end of the day, the economy is growing because of consumer demand, because of the number of people out there spending money. The economy grows because of the debt. I mean, the way in fact, I was going to show you something here. Check this out. It's pretty interesting. Right here. This is from the May 25th, 1935 Boston Globe. Buffalo News, Buffalo News. We see right here. Danger and deflation. Always threat to conservative elements. Super depression avoided in Britain. I just think a lot of people forget how bad deflation is. They think deflation is lowering your prices. That's good. But it's not, because I'm going to show you right here what this guy says. And Walter Lippmann, that name, I'm familiar with that guy. He's dead, but I remember I've heard of, I'm sure he's a big lefty. Let's see. Right. It's not difficult to see why this occurs. The United States is a capitalistic democracy, and capitalism is a system which depends on profits. It is impossible to earn a profit unless prices are greater than fixed costs. And when there's a general collapse of prices, it is impossible, except after a prolonged agony of bankruptcies, foreclosures, and wage cuts, to bring down fixed costs to a profitable level. 100%. And so the facts are you need to have a growing economy. And a growing economy a lot of times does require debt to grow the economy. And this is why I'm 100% the whole thing about the gold standard is stupid. It's dumb. And you think about the gold standard, how many ups and downs of deflation, depressions, all this stuff do we have during the gold standard? It's an insane amount. And so the Fed says smartly, and Milton Friedman of all people would agree with this, if we increase the money supply by a fixed clip, that will grow the economy. Now, Milton Friedman did not like increasing the M2 money supply by significant amounts, except he recognized the Great Depression was caused by the contraction of the monetary supply, not the expansion. And Milton Friedman said the Federal Reserve caused a Great Depression because they contracted the money supply. They did not expand it. And as such, you contract the money supply, there's less dollars. It means what's happening is people hoard, people don't spend, they don't buy new shoes, they keep everything they have because a dollar is worth more tomorrow than it is today. So that's why FDR banned the hoarding of gold, because he says you can't own it. Literally, it was illegal to own gold, essentially. He said we have to get it out there in the money supply. We have to increase the money supply. And FDR was a clown. I mean, he did all kinds of crappy, stupid stuff for sure. But that's what happened in the 1928, 29. Whoever the Federal Reserve chairman was, I can't remember. I forgot the guy's name. But anyway, who the hell was that? But the contraction of the monetary supply, not good. And that's exactly what we did not do under qualitative easing. Now, at some point, you say, well, qualitative easing, it can't keep going. Let's actually take a look right now at the M2. What's M2? We're going to see. We're going to go St. Louis Fred, and we're going to sing a song. Bermuda, Jamaica, come on. I got to sing a different song because that song sucks, donkey balls. All right, so right here, we're going to look at the M2. Boink. Oops, wrong one. So you'll see this is the M2, right? This is the money supply right there. And there we are right there at $22 trillion. And you can see from right there to right there is basically flat. So we got a money supply from April 2022 at 22 trillion to basically 22 trillion. A little bit of growth, not much. Now, people look at this right here. They say, look at that massive increase, 15 trillion to 21 trillion. That's a 50% increase over the course of May 20 to May 22. And people say that's inflationary. Well, I say, okay, well, how about right here? 1970 to 1980 was 595 billion, and 1980 is 1.5 billion or 1.5 trillion. So it tripled in those years right there from 1970 to 1980, when we had the biggest inflation we've ever had in the United States for an extended period of time. Fit again. Then we go from 1980 to 1990, 1.5. Again, another almost tripling right there. 1.5, well, not tripling, but to 3.2. And that's not tripling, but it's definitely a doubling. And we didn't have hardly any. The inflation was dropping right here. So we had to increase the monetary supply, and inflation dropping like a brick in water. Inflation was high right here, but was it because of monetary supply? It's because of oil shocks. But then we want to log this anyway, and it won't look nearly as bad. You go, let's log this guy. And you're like, okay, a little bit of a blip there. And the log is just a change from the previous period. And you can see it's pretty steady. Republicans take over Congress, pretty steady. If flat lines, pretty steady. Right here is after the quantitative easing. Right there is a little bit of a blip, just not a huge blip, even though it looks big when you don't log it. When you don't log, you're like, oh my goodness, that's so bad. You're like, oh my, look at that. just not a big deal, man. It's just not. And so we haven't had any growth in the money supply right here. It's been creeping back up, kind of like on the trend line. But you don't want a massive decline in the monetary supply. It's not good for sure. Now, what happens is, of course, is the people in charge, they like the money supply. They like, because they do reward their the people closest to the source 100%. So that when they expand the money supply, they get rewarded first before you and I do. That's how it works. I get that, but at the end of the day, if you just start cutting back on the monetary supply, you're going to have deflation, and deflation is just ugly. It just is. If you just look throughout history, you say, "Oh man, that's not good. We don't want that. We want a gradual increase in inflation." Now, do I trust these guys to give us a gradual increase in the monetary supply as opposed to booming? I kind of do, and that's what we saw with what's his name, Jerome Powell. 100%, a gradual increase in the money supply. Ben Bernanke said, look, we're in a great financial recession. We got to freaking flood the dollars, helicopter Ben. That's what they called them. And then they stopped doing it as much as they were doing it. Powell said, hey, we're in the pandemic. We got to flood the monetary supply because if not, we're going to go to a Great Depression. We could argue this all day long until we're blue in the face, but the facts are we didn't have mass inflation during the 2010s. We just didn't, even though we had massive amounts of monetary supply from what it was on top previously. Just didn't. So anyway, the whole thing about economics where say, oh, increase money, too much money chasing too few goods is inflationary. The evidence is just not there for that. I mean, there's some evidence, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can pinpoint a couple of things, say, oh, it's true. But if you just look historically, you say, well, we have, so many times of that not happening. So it's not, the sun rises in the east kind of evidence. It's just not. And there's a lot of people freak out over this stuff. And I'm just saying, come on. We need a slow, steady inflation with the M2 monetary supply. Remember, the banks create the debt. I mean, it's just that simple. So you go buy a mortgage or buy a car. It's not like there's money sitting in a vault. There's just ones and O's on a computer screen. Bank just types in, and all of a sudden you're driving off a car. All of a sudden the car dealer gets all that money that they're sending to their dealers or their sales force and whatnot. They get spending power. So the guy where'd that money come from? It wasn't there. Nothing got paid off. It's just like I did not have money. I have a car now, and they got the money. That's, it's just all done by the banks. It's crazy, but it is what it is. That's the best system there is, man. There's no better system than that because, again, the gold standard, I invite anyone to look at the gold standard of the 1800s and tell me that's preferable. It's just not. Anyway, so that was pretty interesting. Denmark removed all their migrants, everyone. They are very happy now. Did they? Oh, that's what I was going to show. We did them too. I was going to show you something else too. Just look at 2007. I think. Oh. Yeah, 100%. 100% Ted. I can't stand Hank Paulson, but yeah, I mean, I don't even think he had to convince the Fed. I think Ben Bernanke had written a paper about the Great Depression, and he had read Milton Friedman and Anna Schwartz's study of the Great Depression. And Ben Bernanke did not need sex for FinCit was a return back. Yeah, well, I hope we're not going to do that. 100%. I hope we're not going to return back to low rates again because the low rates, see this again. Oh, you think Trump's? No, I think Trump's wrong on many, many things. The low rates are bad, man. I mean, low rates are bad for savers. Just a fact. As such, it's just, I don't want low rates. I like higher rates. In fact, I was debating these people on Stupid X. They're like, the bonds, because now the federal interest is now the number one expense for the government, and people are freaking out. I'm like, and I just said, well, who's getting the bond? Who's getting the interest? The bondholders. Yeah, who are the bondholders? The banks. Well, American banks. You and I, pension funds, insurance companies. Higher rates are a form of income transfers. I 100% agree. I like high rates, especially after we had 20 years of low rates. It's about time to reward savers. And I'm sorry, a 6% mortgage isn't freaking crazy. It's just, I'm sorry. It's not. I don't want to ever see a 4% mortgage again. Right? A 6% mortgage is well below historical averages. And so I just, at some point, you got to say to these people who are griping about everything, you don't get everything you want. A 6% mortgage is quite good. And I'm not going to go back to 1982 with the first with mortgages were 18%. I'm saying my first mortgage was in 1998 at 7%, and I thought I'd get a smoking deal. And so a first mortgage at 6%, that's not bad, dude. Especially in the context of what it used to be back in the 60s, 70s, and probably in the 80s too, where you're spending a complete huge amount of your resources on food and clothing. And now we don't spend that same amount of our income on those resources on those products. We just don't. There's abundance of food, abundance of clothing. It's all without question. This is just a fact. Obviously, because we send our textile businesses to Vietnam and stuff. I get it, but it's just fact. This T-shirt costs $16. $16 for this T-shirt. Crazy, and that's including delivery. You know what I'm saying? So it's obviously it's not made in the United States. It's not made in North Carolina. That's for damn sure. But it is what it is. And so you're spending a crap load less for food and a crap load less for clothing. Yeah, you're spending a little bit more on housing. That's the inflation of assets. It's just always going to be this competition. You want to pay more for food? Well, you're going to have to pay less for other things. You want to pay less for food? You're going to have to pay more for other things. And I feel, my daughter's going to need to buy a house when she gets married next year. I get it. But at the end of the day, a 6%, 30-year fixed mortgage, that's not bad. In fact, I still recommend ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, because most people who are young and starting out aren't going to stay in their house for 5 years. They're just not. Yeah, Maria had a 5% mortgage. Okay, but 6% of the price of homes exploded, which makes it, well, let's take a look, Marie. So we're going to go to the median house price. All right, so let's look. And we're going to go to the Fed here. Are you guys still watching this? No. Okay, hold on a sec. So we're going to go, let's type in the Fed. Marie, you're really getting on my nerves. Marie, I'm going to take your bike. I'm going to steal your bike. Marie, watch out. I'm coming to steal your bike. All right. So you better lock that sucker up. All right. So median. Ooh, by the way, look at this. You guys want to see something cool? Watch this. Man, the Fed has got so much stuff on here. This goes back to this wholesale price of corn. And oh, man, just look at this. Wholesale price of corn for Chicago, Illinois. This goes back to freaking 1860. Oh, do I see? Oh, man, is Pulverizer around? His strong money, Ron Paul thing? See these gray things? These are recessions. See that Pulverizer? Those are recessions. Look at all the recessions. Lots of recessions. Lots of recessions. Right here. Here comes the Fed right there. And all of a sudden, this only goes up to 1950. And all of a sudden, the recessions start getting less because here we got World War I. Here we got the Great Depression. Here we got World War II. And a little small recession there, small recession here. Look at all those recessions. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Pulverizer. I'm just picking on you. We got fewer and fewer. This just goes to 1950. I wonder if it goes to max. I think I am at max. Yeah. Pretty cool. Ooh, industrial production for Germany. How far back does this go? To 19. That's not what I want. Hold on a second. Right here. Is it right here? Index. This goes back to, look at this. Stops right there at 1939. Damn it. And we can see recessions. We lived under more recessions in the 1800s than we did look at this. Recessions. Recession. Look at that. We lived under more recessions than we did non-recession, whatever growth would be, I guess. I'm not sure what's called. There's another I was looking at. See if this goes back from Boston. Yeah, it goes back to 1859. It's just so much stuff. Dude, if you're a geek like me, you'll love this stuff. There's so much stuff in the freaking Fred. You can look at England. Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff. Price of a bar of silver for London, 18. This goes back to like the Magna Carta times, basically. It's crazy. 1841 wholesale price for a bushel wheat in Chicago. Dude, I love it. I love this stuff. Retail price for coal in the United States. It's just all right. Oh, right there. Wholesale price for pig iron. Interesting. Because did we put tariffs on pig iron? Yes, we did. Yeah. What? We put tariffs on pig iron. What happened? The price went down. Interesting. That's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to have prices going down when you put tariffs on pig iron. You got money in banking. Let's see. This is just the United States, I think. But you can go down here to the United Kingdom. Oh man, gold held in Treasury, Federal Reserve, banks. Oh, man. Anyway, all right. So what the hell was I saying here? Oh, here's velocity of money. Right here, velocity of money. Oh my! Wait a second. How could this possibly be? How could this possibly be? Velocity of money is shrinking when the freaking Federal Reserve comes online right there. What? What? That's impossible. I thought when the Fed's printing money, it's inherently inflationary. Oh my goodness. And what's the one thing that causes inflation? The velocity of money, how much it changes hands. That's kind of weird. In fact, we go to velocity of money, M2 money right there. And you see, this is the issue that we have to contend with. Oh, look at these few recessions. Holy crap. Look at this. Not many. One, 1960 to 19. Wow. 1973 and 74. That's a bitch. Don't get me wrong. This was bad. In 1982, that was bad. 1991, 2000. That big one right there. And that tiny one. Whoa. Hardly any recessions. Why? Because of freaking Powell for president, Bernanke, Powell. I don't like Greenspan, but those guys, look at that. Look, all that white. Huh, kind of crazy. And if we go back, look at all those. What? Wait a second, Scanlon. Are you telling me when the gold standard was around, there's more recessions than when the Fed had a fiat currency? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Because what does the recession do? It makes it harder to plan for business activity, especially small businesses. Large companies can do it. Smaller companies can't because they're running on thin margins, man. Anyway, I'm freaking big fan, long time, first time. Anyway, so if you go down here, this is the issue right here. We're just not moving the money from our pockets very much anymore. Because I don't know why, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but the velocity of money is down here. It's up, thankfully from 1.1 during the pandemic to 1.4. But, look at that. It's the lowest it's been since 1960. So pulverizer was probably 90 years old. So basically, it's the lowest it's been in pulverizer's whole life, essentially. I got to pick on somebody else at pulverizer. And that's an interesting statistic. I wonder if they got velocity of money in Japan. Let's see. Velocity of money in Japan. Let's take a look. M2 for Japan. Ooh. Yeah, see, that stopped. Look at that. I don't even know what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 15 zeros. Look at that. That's freaking nuts, dude. That's M2 for Japan. I guess not velocity of money. I don't think what if I just type in Japan? What comes up? A Japanese yen interest rate. Ooh, let's watch this right here. All that spending. Oh, we can add the Japanese debt. Let's add the line Japanese government debt. What, Josh, is going on? Japanese government. Or public debt is what it's called. Public debt. Central government debt. Public debt security. Percent of GDP. That's debt to GDP. Let's just do that. Add series. We'll put that over here. Make this one over here. Put this to the left side. All right there. See if it looks right. What the hell happened? Oh, there it goes. Just did something. All right. So here's the debt on the percent of GDP. Yeah, here we go. So here's the debt. The percent of GDP was 40% of GDP in 1993 for Japan. Debt to GDP. All right. And yet the interest rates were freaking at 5. Now the debt to GDP was right here, was at over 200%, and interest rates were below zero. Below zero. I thought high interest rates, I thought debt led to high interest rates. I mean, you just can't say that. You can't, that's impossible. I mean, it can, but debt, here's the amount of debt to GDP, and interest rates are below zero. Crazy. What the hell was I even doing on here? I forgot what I was doing to begin with. Dude, that's freaking. Besides, we all know I'm the reason everyone comes out here on Saturday. That's true. There's Joe Christmas. You say, all right, so with Joe Christmas isn't mad at me. No, that's what I was going to do, freaking Marie. That's right. So Joe Christmas, stop distracting me. Yes, I am getting distracted by shiny objects. I was going to say something gas prices, that's a bad thing, dude. Yeah, it's $3.29 down here. Gas prices, that could be bad, 100%. I mean, it's funny, though. Gas prices were going down. Trump wasn't getting any credit, but now gas prices are going up. Trump's going to get blamed. That is an issue for sure. And that, thankfully we're only in March. But if that doesn't get addressed soon, then that could be a problem for Trump. Gas prices are a big deal. It's a big way to see with your own very eyes the prices you're paying for goods. And when gas prices are high, that's not good. What was I getting ready to say? I was getting ready to say something on that. Yeah, it's pretty high. It's gone up a lot since Iranian stuff, without question. And that sucks. No two ways around. The interesting thing that came out of the jobs report that everyone's bitching about is that was like 700,000 less foreign-born workers are here in the United States now, and 512,000 less have jobs. So since Trump took office, part two, the foreign-born workforce has dropped by 500,000 or 700, whatever it is. I can't remember the exact. We'll just say 500,000. And yet the domestic-born workforce has gone up by $150,000. Not great, but it's very interesting. So the foreign-born workforce is basically skedaddling. Get the hell out of here. The domestic workforce is doing okay. Not great, but is improving. The interesting thing, and this is what pissed me off, all these, I thought libertarians are like, because they hate Trump, they're all pissed off at Trump because the jobs report, like, well, the government jobs are the lowest it's been for since 1960. You know what I'm saying? Since pulverizer was in diapers. When pulverizer still is in diapers because he's 80 now. But anyway, so the issue is that, I thought you didn't want government workers. Well, if you don't want government workers, Trump is crushing all there is to it. But yes, the price of gas is not good. Thankfully, we're out of the home heating season, except for Ted, because Ted's in Maine. My cousin or something like that just posted something on Facebook. They went to the St. Patrick's Day parade. He lives up in Massachusetts. They're all bundled up, and I was like, I'm in shorts and t-shirt, planting. My asparagus is already sprouted. I'm like, yay! I could cut off some asparagus right now if I want. Like, you guys are in shorts, and I'm in shorts and t-shirts. You guys are all bundled up. I was like, oh my goodness, the South. Hard to live on the median wage in Philadelphia at $23 an hour. Yeah, so let's actually take a look at the median house price, sales house price. That's what I meant to do. So Marie freaking took me off target here. Really getting on my nerves. All right, so let's get rid of all this. Go to median. Oops. Oh, it's raining out now. Sales. That's good because I just planted some stuff. All right, good. So it's raining. I just planted some sugar snap peas. All right, so here's the median sales price right there, 405. All right, and look at that. That's a significant jump. So 405. So we take our trusty. Can you also? Oh, you can't. Am I sharing that with you? Yeah. Okay. So we take our trusty calculator. Now, obviously, the median sales price every place is different. Where Marie lives is like $2 million is the median sales price. Where freaking Mark lives, in a trailer in southern New Jersey, is like $22,000. But anyway, so the median sales price for simplicity is $400,000. We'll take our trusty calculator and we're going to see how much that would cost for a mortgage. All right, so we're going to take our trusty calculator. We're going to make that 12. Blink. All right, so we got 12 payments. So we're going to say 360 payments. 6% is our interest. 400,000 is our present value. 0 is our future value. We're going to compute payment. Oops, what the hell, man? I did something wrong. $400,000 is our present value. 0 future value. 6, 360, and our payment's $23.98. So if that's just principal and interest. So you factor another $500 a month, $600. Yeah, it's $3,000 a month payment. And Mark's saying the median wage is $23 an hour. All right. So the median wage, and that's in PA, the median wage is $23 an hour. It's going to be about $46,000 a year. I think. So if you take 23 times 2080, yes, 48,000 a year. So that person on the median wage won't be able to afford that house. That's just a fact. There's just no other way around it, because he's going to pay 36,000 a month, and he's only bringing in 48,000. That's before taxes and all that. And that's that's a median. Well, let's just look at the median wage. I don't even think it's what's that? It's Grok. What is the median salary in the U.S.? Grok's going to tell me the median salary in the U.S. is not median household. Grok. All right, Grok is saying the median salary is about 62,000. All right, so let me show you, so you don't think I'm pulling this out of my butt. Right there. The median salary in the U.S. referring to individual earnings from wages salary rather than household income, varies depending on the exact measure of the population. But according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median usual weekly earnings for full-time wages was $1,200 a week. That equates to 62,000 a year. Okay, there you go. So 62,000 a year. So if a guy is making 62,000 a year and he's paying $2,300 for principal and interest, so 62,000 is about, so 2,300 divided by 5,000 a month. That's a 40% debt to income ratio. And that's too high. No two ways around it. But the nice thing, so here's where the hope comes. Productivity and wage gains. The wage gains, the real increase in income has grown significantly in 2025. The real increase in income is like 1.2%. Real, that's net of inflation. Since freaking the stupid capital, free market, stupid stuff, globalization stuff, has only been about 0.33. The real wage increase has gone quadruple what it did over the last 40 years. Now, will that be sustainable? I think so. As productivity goes, I think wages will increase, and particularly, I do. I could absolutely be wrong. But this is why we need to bring manufacturing back and all this stuff, because these are good, high-paying jobs, especially for things that are important. We're not going to manufacture T-shirts anymore. It's just not going to happen. But we need to manufacture high product stuff that we need, high demand stuff that we need, absolutely. And so this is a big deal. So if we can get wages going up, that will be a big, big win. Now, will you see it immediately? Well, we saw it the last year. Just a fact. Why are wages going up? Well, if there's 700,000 less demand, or supply, I should say, supply of workers because they're skedaddling, what does that do for the remaining people? It's just basic economics, man. Let me show you on the graph. Oh, by the way. Isn't that a new energy? Yeah, we're an exporter now. Ooh, watch this. Linda sent me this. Scented markers. Oh, man, that smells good. Oh, Miss Linda, she's crushing. Mr. Sketch Scented. Oh, wait, are these? Oh, no, I don't think I can use them on a whiteboard, though, can I? Oh, man, I don't know if I can dry eraser. Let's see, taking a chance. Trust it. Anyway, so you have supply go down. Supply is the number of wage earners. You have demand go up. Demand is the number of people who need number of employers who need workers. What does that do for prices? Price goes up. Shocking. No one wants to say this, the stupid libertarian economists and stuff, that when you have a massive increase of supply of workers, it's not just bringing the immigrants in, it's a globalization. You've unleashed millions and millions and millions more people who can do the jobs. Inherently reduces prices. It's just so blindingly obvious. I can't believe people can actually argue that that's not having much of an impact. Of course it is. If you're going to increase the level of supply of workers by a factor of, I think I was reading one lady, she said 4 million people, whatever that was, I can't remember, or four times, whatever it was, you're going to have less wage increase. And even if productivity is going up, well, productivity is going up, we still have less wage increase because we have so many people searching for getting those jobs. Anyway, if wages keep increasing because less and less immigrants are here to compete for them, that's going to be a good thing. But that is an issue. You got to get the wages up, man. 62,000 is the median wage. It's not bad, but it's not enough to buy a median home. It's just not. Which is why we have these two, what Elizabeth Warren called the two income trap. It is the two income trap. And it's not good. People need a house. No, I don't have any issue with that at all. I wonder why Josh always has a green mark under his nose. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Skill trap. I have a friend of mine who knew an elevator. He knew an elevator tech on what's that called? Otis or something like that. And it's just funny. We're talking. I said, he went to I can't remember what he was telling me, but something like he went to fix this elevator during the pandemic. And they're like, you got to wear a mask because I'm not wearing a mask. And I said, you have to. He said, okay, I'm out of here. And they're like, come back. I can't remember what it was, but something like, he's like, dude, I'm not doing it. It's just funny. Here, Penelope. I don't see it done. Maybe something's on your screen. Oh, I think it's just wages haven't kept up with the cost of goods. Oh, they have kept up with the cost of goods. Absolutely. Wages have absolutely kept up with the rise in inflation. 100%. And we can go back. I mean, you literally real wages have absolutely, I mean, even they've kept up even since the beginning of the globalization period of the late Carter, late 70s, early 80s with Reagan. Wages, they haven't gotten much more than that. But the median wage has actually grown by about 0.3% over the rate of inflation. All right, that's just a fact. Now, it's not much. It's not anything to write home about, but it has beaten the rate of inflation, just not very much. The problem, this is what I've been arguing with these libertarian conservative economists, is that the capital, the labor share of national income has gone down significantly. So the people who own the capital, the capitalists, have gotten paid bigger and bigger and bigger, while the labor have got paid, but not very much more. They just have. And so the issue is we have a significant divergence since the globalization period, where the labor is going, and I did a video of this just the other day, where the labor is increasing at a little bit of clip above inflation, not very much, but the capital is increasing significantly above inflation. And that capital is not finding its way back to labor. It's just not. And it needs to be. I just need it. We need to have an increase in labor. And if that means there's less stock buybacks, if that means, the freaking CEOs at McDonald's, dude, can that guy be any more feminine? I'm like, dude, I had one of those arch burgers the other day. You know what I'm talking about? That freaking CEO guy that he's like, I'm eating the product. I said, dude, what are you, dude? Have you ever kissed a girl? Because you seem like you're really, really flaming right now. Anyway, but it did make me want to try an arch burger. And it was actually quite tasty. I'm not going to lie to you. Burger King burgers are better, but McDonald's French fries are better than Burger King's by far. So if we ever eat fast food, I default to McDonald's, and they had the Shamrock Shake as well. So I was loving it. But anyway, wages have kept up, just not much. Don't get high on my own supply. Never waste a crisis. 100% oil price. Yeah, that's not good. If you well, even that, if you don't have to buy a house, inflation is or 100% Ed. If you're in a house, absolutely. I could not agree with that more, man. That's what I wrote about my book. If you're in your home, inflation not necessarily constant, it's just a different type of inflation. That would be a better argument, actually, to say wages haven't kept up with inflation. Well, how are you measuring inflation? If you're measuring it with CPI, it's just not true. If you're measuring it with some other thing, that's fine. But even then you have to say, really? Because then we have to look at the price of foods, the price of electricity, the price of electronics, the price of entertainment. It's just, again, you have to look at your own individual situation. But no one's going to do that because it's so much easier just to look at CPI. Wendy's fries, tons better than McDonald's or the King's. I don't think so. Dude, Burger King about 5 or 10 years ago, they had this new kind of fry that was fantastic. It was fantastic. And then they stopped. It's crazy. The Holsters Union has a 6-year apprenticeship program. Guy can make the Holsters? The Hoisters? What the hell is that? Saw a billboard coming up 75 that was advertising 100,000 for state troopers. Yep. Yeah. We got at here in Milton, Georgia, they got cops making $75,000 to start. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Prop 13. Prop 13 keeps it fixed, only $1,300 a year. I bought the family home in 2002. The tax basis can pass. Oh, I did not know that. Is that the tax basis, Chris, can pass from a parent to a child? That's it. See, I did not know that. That's why you're having these. I just read an article on that. I just saw the headline. I did a cursory look, but that's interesting. In California, the tax basis can pass from parent to child. That's going to keep a lot of families intact, I should say. You want an elevator tech to be good at his job. Yeah, I think so. My wife's cousin is an elevator tech. He makes close to $200,000 a year. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Arby's crinkle fry. Dude, no, they're not good. Those are not good at all. My kids love them, and I've disowned them, as I'll disown you and ban you, DB Douglas. Down for McRib. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, God. Dude, I had one of those one time, and I basically, horrible. All right, so let's go we talked about, so Marie said about the housing costs. We talked about that. Okay, Chick-fil-A, crinkle. No, Chick-fil-A. I don't get the big deal about Chick-fil-A, dude. It's crazy. I don't get the big deal. You got to have good fries, man. You got to have good fries. We have a place, Wingstop. If y'all have Wingstop, believe it or not, Wingstop fries are freaking spectacular. Probably my best fries. Wingstop fries are muy bueno, Penelope. That's how we say it in California. Muy bueno. Wingstop fries. Trust me, they are. Dude, McRibs. Remember one time McDonald's experimenting with pizza? Oh, God, dude, it's so bad. All right, so it's 8 o'clock. So let's go into my topic of the day, if that's okay with friggin' Pulverizer or Tom or Christopher Evans. I should have a cookout at a pool party. I'll charge $10 at the door and only hot chicks can come in. How about that, George? No, that's what I'll do is I'll let the hot chicks come in. Like your wife, I'll say, you get in for free, but your husband's going to have to pay $50. There you go. That's what I'll do. Hot chicks get in free. Yeah, Chick-fil-A's catch you a large amount. Dude, at McDonald's, but this is the thing about efficiency, though. This is what freaking. So my son, I went down to Auburn the other day to see my boy because he's down there. Just went to get some lunch, and we went to that McDonald's. It's right down there in downtown Auburn. And it's just, you go in there, they got 2 kiosks, there's one on each side. So there's 4 total ordering places, but one was broken. So they had 2 things to order, right? And there's no one at the front thing to take your order because they're so used to everybody ordering the kiosk. Okay, so you're like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you have to wait a few minutes, and it's not the worst thing ever happened. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So you order it. All right, so now you have to wait. There's no one at the front desk. They just say, okay, here's your order when it finally comes up. And I ordered 2 Shamrock Shakes, and they weren't there. And the lady said, no, we'll get them here. They'll be out here in just a second. So, okay. And so they're all in the kitchen. I think what McDonald's is doing is being they're neglecting their in-store traffic and going for their drive-through traffic. That's what I think is going on, because all those people are very focused on the drive-through. So we got our McDonald's and the Arch Burger, and that was actually quite good. I liked it. It did not come with ketchup, and I love ketchup. So you're going up there like, hey, I don't have my freaking Shamrock Shakes. B, I don't have my ketchup, but there's no one there. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people waiting for more ketchup or shakes. So you got to say, and I'm pretty loud because I don't hear well. So I say, hey, I don't have my Shamrock Shakes. I'm not mean. I'm nice. She goes, oh, I forgot. Sorry. I said, well, yeah. So he gave me my Shamrock Shakes. I go back, and that's when I realized I didn't have any ketchup. And I said, now I got it. It's like crazy. It's like, and I'm like, why don't you have ketchup up there? It's nuts. And I it's crazy. Anyway, and on top of it, so some guy was waiting on his dipping sauce for his McNuggets, what the hell they're called. And he didn't get them. So he had to go out. He went back. He had to come in. He said, I didn't have my sauce. I didn't have my sauce. And she goes, oh, or I want another sauce. I can't remember what it was. He said, I need a sauce, or I need whatever it was. So she goes, well, normally we charge you 65 cents. I was like, what? crazy, man. So anyway, hey, what's up, man? Eric. Dude, I love mint chocolate stuff, dude. 100, dude, I could mint chocolate. Anyway, so I'm like, wow, what? It's crazy to me. You're gonna freaking nickel and dime people to eat at your store? Anyway, stupid. So anyway, the point being is I guarantee that a very feminine guy at McDonald's, my product, is sitting there saying, look how our stores are productive, not realizing that a lot of people say, screw you, I'm going back to Chick-fil-A. You see what I'm saying? Because this experience is not very good. Just not. And we have McDonald's right over here. And every now and again, I'll go and get a coffee. They have Americanos. It's staffed all by Spanish people, and they're crushing. They're legends. You know what I'm saying? Very friendly, the whole thing. But hey, all right, cool. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, and they're nice, and they're very prompt and quick. But a lot of McDonald's aren't like that. Ketchup is pure sugar. It is, dude, 100%. Show my comment, please. Chick-fil-A, dude, right here. Chick-fil-A's right there. Chick-fil-A's peppermint shake is to die for. It really is. Oh, dude. That's not out right now, is it, Penelope? That's just during Christmas, isn't it? PM, the burgers war are on. Yeah. I was ranting about mindless. Diabetics love ketchup. Yeah, we got Culver's here because they're from Wisconsin. You know, it's only weirdos are from Wisconsin. Someone on this channel from Wisconsin who wears a cheesehead was like, you love Culver's shakes. That's all right. I was like, okay, I want all that in a bag of chips. I was like, okay. I'm ranting about mindless things. Plain chocolate. Yeah, that's not going to do it for me. All right. So anyway, let's go to my thing here. Retired, I don't eat out. Nah, dude. I was gonna grill some freaking. I'm smoking some ribs tomorrow, as long as it's not raining. I was gonna freaking do some pork chops tonight. I got from Publix, opened them up, and they stank. I said, "Holy crap, these things are bad!" So I had to take them back up there. Yeah, Shake Shack. Hey, Rich. This is Rich Ryrie. Rich Ryrie. What's up, man? Shake Shack is freaking fantastic. Wait, what's the liberal one? Is the Shake Shack's the liberal one, or is there's a two like Shake Shack or Shake and Bake or something like that? Ed Gein was a Wisconsin guy. I don't know who Ed Gein is. Name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Shake Shack. There's one of those places, Shake Shack and Steak and Shake. Yeah, Steak and Shake. Don't go there. They're big libs. Shake Shack is fantastic. That's what, but it's like freaking crazy expensive, Penelope. All right. So like, what you can. So is Dahmer. Who the hell is Ed Gein again? Oh, was that freaking crazy murderer guy that was partnering with Dahmer? Did you see the freaking documentary about the Atlanta? Remember that all those black people got killed in Atlanta? That guy, I forgot his name. They're all saying they're all connected. All this, I was like, damn, dude, he's making a case that it's all connected. I believe it. All right, so I just want to go in this because everyone's getting on my nerves, putting all these comments that I can't freaking not read, or else people say. I've seen plenty of videos getting fast food workers' attention. Oh, like where the guys say, hey, yeah, shake machine out broken. Yeah, Chick-fil-A does. Oh, dude, I freaking love Wingstop. I can tear up some Wingstop, something wicked. The Chick-fil-A folks are very religious conservative. I don't know that to be true. I just think they train them well. You know, I mean, I think this, you know, if you're not going to be a freaking scumbag, you know, Satan isn't go work at Chick-fil-A necessarily, but you know, but they train him well. Anyway, all right, Penelope, just stop. Culver's is very good. I go to Madison in Wisconsin, eat there. Nearest one of me is 2 hours away in Knoxville. Yeah, if it's from Wisconsin, you know, it's inferior. Just joking. But by the way, in case you haven't seen, Minnesota Northstars. All right. Anyway, so let's go to what I was going to talk about before everyone interrupted me rudely. And we're going to share screen, and we're going to show you. This is very interesting, I find. All right, so I went to Claude. I actually like Claude, even though Claude, the CEO of Claude, is now begging for forgiveness for implying that Trump was whatever the hell he's doing. It's stupid. But anyway, so it's going to be hard to see here, so you're just going to have to bear with me here. But what's happening is I said take 3 portfolios, all right, and I'm going to write them up on the screen here. And oops, this thing. Oh, I have to do it one thing too. Let's try a different marker, see what this one smells like. Cava is my favorite food. What the hell is cava? We didn't make the ribs. We're making them tomorrow, Marie. Yeah, we already talked about gas prices going up. This is blue. Oh man. Oops, I do think I got one there. That does smell good. It smells like blueberry. Yep, blueberry, I think. I don't know, man. I don't know what that is. All right, anyway, but we're not going to use that. So we got, and I think I've heard of Freddy's. So we got 100% SP, 50, and 100% T-bills. And so I said to I said to Claude, I said, run how many times, the percentage of times this portfolio was in a 3-year loss, a losing streak, not necessarily a bear market, but basically 36 months consecutively being down. All right, that's what I asked Claude to do. And it said, boink, right here, pretty interesting. It said the S&P 500, there's 178 negative periods out of 1,291 rolling 30-month windows. So it's 1,291 rolling 36-month windows. 178, it was negative for 3 straight months, or 13.8% of the time. 13.8%. So 13.8% of the time, the S&P 500 had 3 consecutive years loss. A 50-50 was 8.1. And 90-day T-bills was 0. All right. That's pretty interesting, I thought. And if I had my glass, I could see what they're saying. So again, the S&P 500 having 3 consecutive or 36 months where it was lost money is not all that uncommon. It's just not. Interesting. And you can see right here, the worst 36 months in the S&P 500 was negative 7. You can't see this. I know it's too small, but negative 78%. That was during the Great Depression. And again, what did we learn about the Great Depression? Well, did we learn that much? Because again, even in 2007, 8, and 9, with helicopter Ben Bernanke in charge, we still had a 57% top to bottom decline in the S&P 500. All right. And then the NASDAQ in 2000, 2001, and 2 is down like 70%. But at 50-50, still had 48.9% was the worst. So even though a 50-50 portfolio only had 8.1% of the time is in the negative for 3 consecutive years, the max drawdown was still almost 50%. 50%. And you're like, I got 50% stocks, 50% bonds, and you're still almost down 50%. Again, that was in 1932 as well, because that was the stocks. For the T-bills, the worst I ever had was up 4.4. That's pretty interesting. Let's keep going now. Now you'll see what the Claude says is the Great Depression that dominated the story. There are 3 other ones, as I've talked about many times, was 1973 and 1976, 3 consecutive months, 2000, 2001, 2 and 3, and then 2008, 9, and 10. 2007, 8, and 9. All right, very interesting. T-bills never went negative over 3 years. Not once. All right, let's keep going. So I said, now do 25-year rolling periods, the percentage of time each was down over 25-year rolling periods. All right, so this is interesting. The S&P never had one time, well, none of them had, where they lost money over 25 years. So not one time. And that shouldn't shock anybody. Now, this is we're not taking money out. Just want to point that out to you. Not one time did the S&P just by itself have lost money over 25 years. All right, that's where they say, stocks for the long run, portfolio gets less aggressive. But I don't buy that for 2 seconds flat. But if you hold the stocks for 25 years, historically, you've never lost money. It's fact. The best 25-year was 5,092% for the S&P 500. 5,092%. That's the best 25-year time frame. The best 25 years for 100% T-bills was 772. Crazy. And then for 50-50 was 2,082. I mean, you at 100% stocks, you made 5,000%. That nuts? Crazy. Let's see. Even the worst 25-year run for the S&P 500 still turned $1 into $3.64. The worst 25-year time frame is still up 264%. I thought that was pretty interesting. So the worst was up 264%. And that right here was 228%. And right here was, I think it was 51 or something, 91. So I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Let me put this on a second. You can't really see that. Stop sharing. So you had, let me get the thing. Get old. Oh, man. All right. So you had right there. The 13.8% of the time you were in the hole for 3 years. You never lost money over 25. The best 25-year run was 5,000%. The worst was 246% in the positive for the S&P 500. But watch this. The worst is 228, worst is 246. The best of 2,000, best of 5,000. Isn't that interesting? Buffett's advice, own the S&P and move on. My business is doing well. I wonder how bad my 401k choices are. But isn't that crazy? Look at that. So the 50-50 had close to the same worst as the S&P, but not anywhere near the upside because the T-bills really hurt you in this regard, the upside. The T-bills, 91% was the worst, 772 was the best. So again, no one's going to sit there and say you should be all on T-bills. No one's saying that, but I'm just like to point out to kind of give you a mechanism here. All right, let's keep going here. So Claude says, all right, Josh, you're crushing. I said, I know I am, Claude. I know I'm crushing. And I said, now can you do it net of inflation? And here's where it gets even interesting. All right, so what we're going to see here, when you do net of inflation, and we're just using CPI Marky, and the Get Fresh crew. So net of inflation, the worst 25-year time frame here is negative 17%. Wrong one. Whoops. I hope that I got my fingers. Hope it comes off. And the let's see, the median net of inflation was 67%. Hard to see, I grant you, but we'll go over it in a second. The worst, let's see, that's the median. The worst for the S&P 500 net of inflation was 67%, and this is 65. And the median was 439 and 216. All right, so what does that mean here? That's interesting. So what you'll see here is that this, when you factor in inflation, actually lost money. Over 25 years, T-bills, the worst ever did, when you factor in inflation, was negative 17%. Now, that doesn't happen very often. The median was 67%. All right, so this is what I tell people all the time. If you just, everyone's like, the dollar is losing. I'm like, yeah, but only an idiot would put the money in literally a dollar bill for 25 years. You don't do that. Just buy 90-day T-bills and you'll beat the rate of inflation. Just fact. One time you did it. All right, but whatever. But here's 50-50 again. The median was 600. The worst net of inflation was 65%. The median, was that the median? I can't remember. That median is 216. Yeah, that's what it was. So here, the median was 216% net of inflation, and the worst was 65. And again, S&P 500, the worst was 67%. Yep. And then the median was 439. Yeah, 439. Crazy. This shows you that, the stocks just really outperformed even when we were factoring the depression. I think I even went back to 1913 on this. Let's see here. I think it went, 1913. So over any rolling 25-year period since 1913, everything won except for T-bills when inflation are factored. Isn't that crazy? Now, the drawback is, I want to see if you guys, I want to share this with you so I don't have to draw it. The drawback is right here. When you factor in inflation, the loss rate, 25% of the time when inflation is factored was the S&P 500 in a 36-month slump. Isn't that interesting? When inflation is factored in 1/4 of the time, you are in a losing position for 36 months straight. Bonds 50-50 is a 21.6%. And then, but even T-bills, see, this is what's interesting. T-bills didn't get any reprieve because T-bills, 20% of the time, they had lost money relative to inflation for 3 years straight. I just find that very interesting and very favorable towards stocks, again, as we all, but it just shows you once again, when you're factoring in stock market losses, once again, we just got to say, well, what's the potential for them to recapture back? And the potential is quite high, obviously. I mean, since 1913, we never had a 25-year time where you lost money. Just never, not even close, even when inflation is factored in. Even if you had 25% of the time, you're down for 3 straight years. Now, this is not taking money out. I just want to be very, very clear. That's not taking money out. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on pulling some money out because I still think it's a big deal. If I just retired in the market, on my phone, and the market's getting smoked because of the freaking Iran war and all this stuff, and the interest rates are actually going up, it's kind of strange. Not much, but they went up a little bit. I'm surprised by that. I'd be a little bit worried. And I might be inclined to say, I'm going to put all my money and save stuff. And I say, that's fine for the time being, but you just can't sit there, and you can't. And so what I always tell people when I'm talking to them, get nervous like that. It's a pretty simple way to look at it. I always tell people like this. All right, where do you think the markets are going to be in 5 years? All right, so we're here, markets, year 1. In 5 years, there's going to be 3 things. We're either going to be up, over, or down. Where are they going to be? And I'd say if they're going to be up, just stay in. If they're going to be down, over, even, stay in. If they're going to be down, then get out. But that's you got 3 options. So that's a 33% chance that they're going to be down relative to, and this is without having any historical context or anything like that. So 33% chance you're saying, yes, we have 3 choices: up, over, down. One of the things will happen, 2 won't. They're going to be up, over, down. If they're going to be up, then stay in it. If they're going to be over, stay in it. If they're going to be down, get out. I got no qualm with that. But for that to happen, that means 66% of the other times won't happen, which seems kind of unfeasible to me, especially when you look at market history. 33% is a third, exactly. Josh is straining my traps. My traps? Oh, my back. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, down. I would be, if you would have maybe 27 years ago, Don, I might be interested in your attempt to date me. But those days are over. My feeling of experimentation is over, if you know what I'm saying. I'm always leaving a good chunk of my wealth in. I have to give myself a fighting chance. Yeah, well, see, I still got cash. I got cash, dude. And the reason and it's not much. I mean, I hate to say not much. There's some. My cash is actually mostly in long government bonds. All right, that's my cash, because the interest rates are so far, they're just not going to go up. Well, they could. If they do, that's a risk I'm willing to take. So I'm willing to take the risk of interest rates staying sideways or just kind of going like this, fluttering around while I'm getting a 4.5 to, I think I bought it. I think the yield when I bought that long bond was 5 or something like that. I can't remember. But let's just say 5%. I'm willing to stay, just because you can sell government bonds very quickly. There's always going to be a market for government bonds. So it's not like there's a market stops. There will always be buyers for government bonds. So nice thing about having government bonds is you will always be liquid. Yes, it might not be liquid in terms of the price you paid relative to what you're going to get for it, but it will always be liquid. And that means you can say, hey, at the end of the day, I know there's going to be a buyer because everyone wants government bonds, especially when the S hits the fan. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, I got my government bonds, and I don't expect the interest rates to go up much. So I don't think that I will, when I do liquidate them, I don't think it'll be at a big discount. I just don't. So that's why I like my government bonds for my cash. And I get a sizable stake in that, 100%. Everything else is stocks, though, because I said at the end of the day, I got, I think, $5,000 in cash or something like that, just sitting there in a money market. So I said, okay, I got a little bit of cash, just for real emergency funds. But I said, okay, at the end of the day, if things go crappy in the stocks and I can't pay my mortgage, I can sell my government debt, and most likely I'll sell it for what I paid for it. Cash is liquid. Yes, you can go to anywhere. Wait a minute. Just because you identify 3 options doesn't mean there's a 33% chance it'll be down. No, it just means of the 3 options, it's a 33% chance you'll be right, if that makes sense. Because not looking at market history, Ted. I'm just saying at the end of what we're saying is here, we got 1 of 3 choices. You have a 33% chance on each, so you have to choose one, and one of those choices was a 33% chance to be right. What about SGov? What's your opinion to keep cash safe? I'm not sure what SGov is. Is that a government bond, short-term government bond fund? It sounds like it. And so, yeah, I don't have any problem. I have long government bonds. So if SGov is short-term government bonds, I would have the equivalent of LGov. Actually, mine's even worse because it's worse as long zero coupon bonds. I had to look up to guys older than me who work out. I need to get back into it, get hurt all the time. So yeah, dude, you got to, when they're going to send you the gulag, dude, when the Democrats get back in, Don, and they're going to send their freaking soy boy armies to you, you're not going to be able to take them all out, but at least make them take at least one, or at least make them take 3 of the soy boys that put you in the gulag. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you don't want to go out by one soy boy. He's got to take at least 2 or 3. Because you can't look, man. When the commies come, they don't play, and you can't. Let's just put it this way: you better be prepared to defend yourself. That's all there's to it. SGov is 0 to 3 month U.S. bond fund. I think it's better than SPACs to park cash. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. That's what Ted says. Yeah, I got no problem with that. No, I just, frankly, for me, there's a risk in terms of volatility on long zero coupon bonds that says if the interest rates do spike, I could get spanked, which is exactly what happened in 2022. Thankfully, I wasn't in the position in 2022. All right. Now, I bought it before the position bottomed out, unfortunately, but kettlebell training and boxing is good against soy boys. Yeah. Yeah, what I'm saying. Yeah, boxing is a great, dude. Boxing is so hard. I tell you, shadow boxing, it looks like it's easy. Just try doing it, man. It's freaking tough. My cash is interest. Yeah. There's Penelope. We got our pepper spray. I think, isn't pepper spray illegal in the UK, Penelope? By cash is internet high yield savings accounts. Yeah, that works. I could call that. Dave Ramsey says pause investing while building on emergency fund. I don't like that. I don't like that either. I get what he's saying, but for me, it just depends on how aggressive you are. And I say, look, at the end of the day, the market goes down 46% of the time in any given year. That means it goes up more. That means and then over 2 to 3 years, you got to look at with the emergency. Yeah, I'm going to pay for my grandkids to do some boxing training. I think that's probably the 4th time. Bucket strategy is your friend. Yeah, 100%, Tom. Why do you say 4? Did you say that before? Let's see it, Tom. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. 3rd time is a charm. Bucket strategy is your friend. All right. Carl Jr. Yeah, probably go to another 5 to say, I wouldn't be surprised for that. Bucket strategy is friend. So where Tom say bucket strategy is your friend? Yeah, Tom, you lied. There's Tom right there. He said bucket strategy is your friend. And then he says right here, right, watch this. Tom's a liar. We caught him. Third time is a charm. Bucket strategy is your friend. And then he says fourth time, bucket strategy. I caught you, Tom. I caught you. You didn't say the second time, Tom. You didn't say the second time. You said right there, bucket strategy of friends. So that'd be the first time, unless you said it before that. Let's see. I don't see Tom on here. Yeah, no. Oh, but yes, but you didn't identify, Tom. You didn't identify the second time saying bucket strategy of friend. You didn't identify that as the second time. So how did we know that was the second time? You didn't identify it. So yes, you didn't lie, but it's a lie by omission. You omitted the fact that you neglected to tell us a bucket strategy is our friend the second time. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk. No state income tax. Where's this? Always go with T-bills. And notice for my bucket number one, no state income tax. Refuse to. Yeah, 100%. Governor Gruesome. Dude, that guy's so freaking stupid. I hate that. I shouldn't say I hate that guy. I just can't. I don't hate it. The way he sat with his legs, like it's just. I don't know. Did y'all see that? Like with his legs crossed. Dude, Obama used to do that, but not nearly as bad as Gruesome. It's just. It's like, dude, can you just not be? Can you just not be like that? I mean, remember they brought out. So they got some guy up in Maine. They're trying to be like this freaking, like. Hard white guy who's working man and all this, and his pedigree is good. 3 tours in Iraq as a Marine. You know what I'm saying? He's got Nazi tattoo. It's kind of funny to me, but so he's whatever. So he seems like he's probably legit. I mean, he's a clown. Don't get me wrong, but whatever. But then they got like Tim Walz. Like he works on trucks. He's the man. Who's the other guy they put out? There's like they got this guy in Texas. It's freaking as light in his loafers as the day is long. You're like, oh man, he should man spread. Well, I don't like that either. I don't get that, dude. I never quite understood why you got to sit like that. It's just you don't have to do that. I don't like that. I can't even cross my legs, Penelope, because I have no flexibility. I got short legs, just FYI. Short legs, but yeah, I like money markets. Yeah, SPACs. I got VMF. No, I don't have. I have the Schwab money market. The Texas dude is sweet. Yeah, dude, he's sweet. AI says my portfolio is highly resilient. The definition of conservative growth strategy. Right on, man. All right, well, I can go finish watching the movie. We're watching. My wife went to Penelope. You like this? And Chris, if you guys are down there, they went to go see Indian Wood or whatever the hell it's called. Indian Wood. Is that what's called? Indian, whatever it's called. The tennis matches in Palm Springs. Yeah, he's definitely a lefty, 100%. I actually wonder if he actually is. I think he's just playing the role as a guy that win the primary. And he'll probably win the general too, but I think he's just playing the role. I bet he's not nearly as left as we. I bet it's going to be another Fetterman. I mean, I could absolutely be wrong, but I can see that. See a pulverizer. Imagine the idea they're going to be targeting some tennis match. Whatever that was called. They went to saw Sinner last night, and Sinner won. And my wife is stoked because she's in love with that guy. I don't know what the hell it's called. Some tennis match in Palm Springs. Just got out of a super hot 12-minute shower. What did I miss? Well, you were doing something kind of funky in there. Hope your wife joined you because that's a long shower from one dude. Shelter with Jason Statham. Just saw it yesterday. All right, I might have to check that out. All right, I can get out of here, my friends, too. Thanks, you guys, for being here. Minnesota Northstars right there. Bring it back, baby. Bring it back to Minnesota. I don't know what the WBC is. World Boxing Championship? I have no idea. I'm sure he'll win. I'm not sure. The second district is pretty conservative in the county. Yeah, but he's winning the state. He's running for state senate. So the senate for the whole state. So if he wins the first district, he'll win. I hope Paul LePage wins the second district for the House, but this guy is probably going to win the second or the whole state. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the thing with Susan Collins, like my mom is a stark Democrat, and she voted for Olympia Snowe because Olympia Snowe had massive constituent services. And as such, whenever my mom needed something, she contacted Olympia Snowe's office, and they got right on it. And so my mom says, I don't like Republican. I'm not Republican. I'm a lefty, but Olympia Snow has always done everything I've asked of her for constituent services. I got a feeling Susan Collins is probably like that too, to be perfectly honest with you. So refreshing to have no one here not be triggered by discussion of seeding pasture. Indian Wells, that's what it's called. Yeah, Indian Wells. No, she's not conservative at all, but what are you going to do, man? I mean, we need someone to vote for the judges and stuff, and she probably will. All right, my friends, God bless. We'll see y'all. And pray for those people again up in Western Michigan getting hit by that tornado. Man, that sucks, donkey balls. Ugh. All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.